Good afternoon, good morning to everybody joining us here on today's Track Hospitality webinar. Want to thank you so much for taking a little time today to join us. I really do, really do appreciate it. So we're going to get started this morning. So good morning, and again, thanks. My name is Mike Ricci, and I am an implementation and training specialist with Track Hospitality Software. And as usual, I'm seeing some very familiar names in our guest list for today's webinar. And so if you're new and this is your first webinar, thank you so much again. Welcome. Really happy to have you. If you find that today's meeting is helpful, make sure you're coming back to our meetings every other week, every Tuesday at this time, every other Tuesday at this time, excuse me. And we're really trying to gear this towards you. You know, we want to make sure that these webinars are able to give managers and agents insights on different aspects of Track. As was the case with our last webinar, this is actually a requested topic. And I want to thank everyone who's been reaching out and, to discuss the webinars or suggest a certain topic. So if there's something you want to touch on in the future, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Let us know. We're making these webinars for you and we want these to be effective. So if there's something you want to touch on, just let us know. Today we are going to be discussing performing call handling tasks within Track, best practice, things along that line. So right now I'm logged into our Track Vacation Rentals Track account. I'm going to log into the agent dashboard, and some of you may already know a lot of the best practices that we're going to talk about today. We're going to go over transferring phone calls, three-way phone calls, and then finally we're going to touch on warm call transfer. So maybe you and your staff are already experts at this. Maybe this one doesn't apply to you so much. That's okay. I mean, it's always good when you know, we have some people that are adopting to best practices. So if you're already pretty well versed in this, please feel free to stay on. Maybe you might pick up a little something extra. But especially for new clients who are logged on and starting to use Track, we're going to go over the transferring three-way phone calls and warm call transfer. So in the upper right-hand corner, you click to log in. I'm going to select my desk as my destination, my desk phone. So the very first thing that we are going to do on this phone call is we are going to take a phone call from a lead. Now, forgive me, I need to dial a phone number right now while I'm talking. So all right. So we're calling into Track right now. And we're going to make notice of the call control tab on the right-hand side. We're not on a phone call, so we don't have the ability to open the call control tab until we are placed into a phone call. So give me one moment and we will So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to refresh because I needed to make one adjustment within the queue. So my apologies for that. I'll actually take calls through my computer right now. So the first thing we're going to do is take a look at what happens when you make an outbound call using Track. So tell you what, we're going to use Southern Sanctuary right now because I believe that will actually work. So my apologies. I've been doing some work on with the Twilio account within Track Vacation Rentals. So that is not going to work right now. So I'm going to log into the agent dashboard for our staging site, Southern Sanctuary Vacation Rentals, and I am going to make a call into Southern Sanctuary right now. So let me dial that number in. And as I was mentioning, you'll notice that the call control tab is grayed out when you're not on a phone call. You have no access to the call control tab, but once a phone call does route to you, you will have the ability to take a call and be able to use the call control tab. So we have a phone call that's come in. I'm going to answer it right now. And immediately we're going to notice that there is a blue call control tab, so now I'll be able to access it. When it's an inbound phone call and you click into the call control tab, you're going to have the ability to transfer phone calls and do an ad party, which is essentially a three-way phone call within Track. When transferring a phone call, and again, transfer is only available when you are taking an inbound phone call. We'll talk about what to do in an outbound call in just a little while. But when you're ready to transfer a phone call, especially if you're going to be using your desk phone to take calls through Track. So if you're using remote client, which is using your computer as your soft phone, you're not going to have to worry about how you transfer phone calls, because your only option will be the transfer option. If you are using a desk phone and the desk phone is your main destination, you might be in the habit of trying to transfer calls using your actual phone equipment. When using Track, if you try and transfer a call using your phone at your desk, you're going to have issues where you are unable to transfer calls without disconnecting. So if I was to try and transfer a call from myself to somebody else using my actual phone equipment, as soon as I hang up the phone, call will be disconnected. So it's very important that when you're transferring a call through Track, you're actually clicking the transfer button. And then you're going to have 4 different options, 4 different ways that you're going to be able to transfer calls. There's going to be a directory number. So directory numbers will already be inputted into your system, typically by managers and by the implementation specialists during configuration. These are going to be outbound. These are numbers that you're going to be able to send calls, transfer calls to, or might even be part of your company's menu if there's a main menu. So you'll be able to select a phone number from the directory, okay? And maybe we want to send something to our accounting department. All I would do is press the transfer button, and then the call will immediately transfer. I will no longer be accessible to me, and I'll be able to send to make more phone calls as set to active available. You can also select to transfer a call to an actual phone number. So what you would do here, very simple, is type in the phone number that you would like to transfer the call to, and then press transfer. Easy enough. If your company has multiple queue setups, so maybe you have a short-term rental, or maybe you have long-term rental, maybe you have a variety of different queues set up within your Track account, you can actually transfer calls from queue to queue using the transfer option. And then you also have individual agent queues set up for each agent within Track. If you don't have individual agent queues set up, feel free to reach out to us. We can walk you through the process of getting those set up. So if another agent is logged in, you will see their name listed under active agents. So maybe this is a phone call that the person has been dealing with Jacob Quast throughout the entire process of booking. They call up, call doesn't route to Jake because Jake's unavailable. Now he is. I can transfer the call to him that way. I'd simply press transfer and the call will transfer. With Ad Party, we have the ability to do a 3-way phone call. The directory number, again, same as it is within the transfer option, gives you the ability to go ahead and transfer calls or do a three-way call with any one of your directory numbers. So maybe I want to speak with the accounting department. I would simply click add party, and the accounting department will automatically be brought into this phone call. In fact, I'll call my own personal desk here. I'll click add party, and what you'll be able to see here is now I have the initial caller, and now I have the third party that I brought in. Once the call has been answered, and as you can see now, all three parties are brought in on the same phone call, I'm going to have the ability to hang up as the initiating party. If I hang up on this phone call, these two calls will stay on the phone together, and they'll be able to continue their conversation. Okay, it won't matter if you want to leave. As long as you hang up the phone after doing the three-way call this way, you're free to leave. As long as you're not trying to do this through your desk phone. If you try and transfer through your desk phone, the second you hang up, it will automatically disconnect all parties. So I'm going to hang up on that call, and then I'm going to save my disposition. We'll just say that it's a general question. I'll click save. And now let's do an example of what happens when we make an outbound call and take a look at the options available to us. So the call is going outbound. Now the call has been answered, and I'm talking to Bill George right now. If I was to click into the call control tab, with this being an outbound call, you'll notice that the transfer option has been grayed out. Again, you do not have the ability to transfer calls that are initially outbound phone calls with Track. All you're going to have the ability to do is what we call a warm call transfer. And this is how you would execute a warm call transfer. First, you would put the initial caller on hold, listed down here. Put them on hold, and then you're going to want to do an add party, and then you are going to want to select either a directory number or an actual phone number. Now, a directory number, let's just say that they have an issue and they need to be brought up with somebody internally. What you could do is select add party, select your directory phone number, and then when you select add party, again, all three phone calls, all three parties are going to be brought in. And again, as the initiating party, you have control over the first person you spoke to being on hold. So they're on hold right now, and I am now in touch with the person internally, and I need to bring them up to speed with the issue that is going on. I could take a couple minutes. I could bring up the person in accounting or the general manager, whomever I'm bringing in on this call. I can say, look, hello, hey, I'm talking with a customer. His name is Bill George. This is the problem that they're having. Lay out the main points. And then you can bring in the initial caller by clicking on hold. Now all three parties are brought together. And if your part in the phone call is all done, you can just hang up the call right there. And again, just like with inbound calls, these two parties will stay on the line together. So let me hang up on this party and give you one more scenario, and then we'll wrap things up. One more scenario where you might want to do the add party situation. Perhaps you're talking to somebody, and it's a suggested sales technique. Use it or don't, it's entirely up to you. But we do find that some of our clients have done this before, and they find it to be very helpful. So maybe you're talking to Bill George right now, and Bill George is being very hesitant. Maybe this is the second, third, fourth time you've talked to them, and they keep saying, hey, I just need to talk to my friend, or I need to talk to my wife, or I need to talk to my sister, whomever, to clarify some things and make sure that we are booking the right unit for what we're looking to do. Well, what you can do is say, well, why don't we just add party? And why don't you give me their phone number? Let's talk right now. We could bring them in on a phone call. We can discuss, the scenario that we're working on right now and find the right room that fits for everybody involved. So you can actually bring in multiple people on the party side, on the lead side. to help expedite the sale if that is something you're interested in doing. So again, we would simply type in the phone number, and then we'll add party. And once the call has been answered, you can hang up and the two parties can continue talking. So that is a real brief look, and I'm sorry for the delay towards the beginning, but transferring phone calls, doing three-way phone calls, and doing warm call transfers. Again, this may not have been a topic that you and your team have been having a problem with, but I know that a lot of clients, especially those that are very, very new, getting out of the habit of transferring calls or doing three-way calls with their actual desk phones. We need to make sure that we're bringing all call control related actions within the agent dashboard in the call control tab. So that's about all I have for today. I want to give you all a preview for what we're going to be talking about in 2 weeks. Now, this is going to be a topic in a webinar that is more geared towards managers. So feel free to, if you're not a manager, feel free to bring it up to the managers at your office. We are going to be going over call auditing and call scoring in 2 weeks. It's a very exciting topic, but we're going to be going over call scoring. We're going to go over call auditing, and it's going to kind of lead into the lead management and RPS series that we're going to be launching at Track University. And again, if you have not been to Track University, it's track-university.teachable.com, and from there you can enroll for free. You can take courses such as agent certification. You can learn more about the Track setup, and we even have an agent dashboard training session as well. So check out track-university.teachable.com if you haven't already. Stay tuned for our next webinar in 2 weeks. It's going to be call auditing and call scoring, again, geared more towards the managers. Again, my name is Mike Ricci. I'm a training and implementation specialist here with Track. I appreciate you taking the time to meet today. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. Have a great day. Thank you.